Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and we've had a video from Jeff Kaplan, the games director, telling us what the PTR is used for. Now, this is a very interesting video, and actually it comes at a great time, because I wanted to make a video telling you guys what the PTR is used for and what it's about, because there is a lot of confusion. But Jeff goes over a lot of points in this video, and I think it would be interesting for us to break this down and look at it, because some of it is honestly quite confusing, and some of it makes a lot of sense. So, let's get into this. So the PTR is primarily used to see if the game is stable after they change it, which I thought was kind of interesting, because you would think its primary function was to test new changes, new balance changes, you know, all the changes to Diva and Roadhog and stuff like that. But actually it's to see if it's stable. Now, it kind of makes sense, right? When Hook 2.0 was first put onto the PTR the other week, playing the game, it would crash all of the time. And they've obviously had to work out why it crashed and fix it. So a lot of stuff like that goes on behind the scenes that we don't necessarily see. Now, I would have honestly thought that the primary function of the PTR is to test balance, right? It's you make a change and see what goes on, but it's actually to do with all kinds of other things as well. So that was kind of interesting to see that it's not just for feedback, which I guess I say interesting is kind of strange in a way, but they obviously need to test the game before it goes live. Worst thing they could do would be to put the game a new updated version straight out onto live servers, and it crashes and all the game starts collapsing all around them when they've got a test environment they can do this on. So that I thought was quite interesting. This is a huge one, and again, this is another topic I wanted to discuss, and this is why there is no PTR on consoles. Now, it's because of certification problems. This means that Blizzard completely own Battle.net, right? They can do what they like with PC Overwatch because they own the system it's played on, they own the game. However, on the consoles, they own the game, but they don't own the platform. So they don't own, obviously, Sony or Microsoft. So for the PSN and Xbox Live, they have to get certified. So what that means is they have to produce a patch, produce an update, give it to Microsoft and give it to Sony, and they check it to make sure it works okay, and then they put it live. This is why we don't have a PTR, because they can't rapidly change things because it would take too long. So almost having a PTR on console kind of wouldn't work. Although he did say it's not totally off the table. There might be one at some point. Now, honestly, we need a PTR console version of the PTR, because without that, how the hell can we test changes? Because they just basically go live, right, on the consoles, which is not great, because people might not necessarily see things that are going to happen or things that are going to change. Like, Symmetra is a major talking point right now, especially on console. She's very strong on consoles because she's got a lock-on attack. So it's more difficult on consoles to aim at Symmetra and kill her before she kills you with a lock-on beam ability. Like, any kind of lock-on attack on console is very powerful. This is why Symmetra's turrets were nerfed, and Torbjorn's turret was also nerfed, because it's an auto lock-on ability. They're very powerful on console, and you can't really know that until you test it, but they kind of test it on live. So I really do want to see a PTR on console at some point, so I hope that they can work that out. Now, if you remember, initially they would patch on PC and then patch on console. There would be a delay. So if a new hero came out, it would be on PC before it was on console, for example. But recently they don't do that. The patches drop at exactly the same time. Now, it's not very clear what Jeff was trying to say on the video on this point. What I think he was saying is, when they have the PTR up and available on PC, they are testing things there for stability, and then if they know it's stable, they push that to Microsoft and Sony, who then get ready to certify that. So when the PTR gets turned off and the PC version is updated, there is an updated version of the game. But there's kind of a mismatch there in my mind, because if they keep changing things on the PTR, there must come a point where they just stop changing on the PTR. So I think what they do is they make the changes on the PTR, and then they leave the PTR for a week. And that week period the PTR is live, they'll do no more balance changes and things like that, because that's when they're waiting for certification to finish on the consoles. And when it does, they bring the PTR down and both go live at the same time. I think that's what they're doing. He doesn't say that as such in the video. He kind of jumps around it, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. He also says he wants more people on PTR, which makes sense, right? More people, more information, more feedback, and all of that stuff. But why are there no incentives? Now, a lot of people in the community have been talking about this, like, why should I go on the PTR? There's no point. It's a very old character. Like, they copy over a version of your character from a few months ago. So it's out of date. You're not the same level. You don't have the same unlocks. And you're there just to test stuff which might not work or might be broken. You don't actually get a reward. You kind of do in a way, because you're helping the game get better. You're testing stuff. You might go onto the forums and provide feedback. Or simply through just playing the game, you're giving Blizzard data that they can look at to see if things are working. But he did say it would be a good idea if there was an incentive. Now, They're not going to be doing this right now because he literally says they've got better things to work on than this, which is fair enough. There's only a certain number of people that work on Overwatch. But he does say he does like things like maybe getting a free loot box or some sort of loot box incentive, because that would make more casual players go on the PTR. Because let's be honest, people who go on the PTR are like hardcore Overwatch players, yeah? They're going to go on there to see what's happened to their hero, to check out balance changes, try and predict what's going to happen in the future with the meta and all stuff like that. Casual players are not going to do that. But if you're like, hey, you'll get a free loot box if you play a game on the PTR, well, that's going to make more people go onto the PTR. Now, I don't understand why that would be hard to implement. I'm not a designer, I'm not a programmer or anything like that, so it might be more difficult than what I'm leading it on to kind of be. But yeah, I think just giving you a loot box would be a great idea. Another thing he likes as well is transferring XP that you earn on the PTR to your live account, which I think is another good idea. And if they could implement that, that would be great. And I would like to see some ideas off you guys in the comments below, because I do think having some sort of an incentive to play on PTR is a good thing, because it will make more people test the game. They will get more information, and they can, information is king, right? More info they've got, they can work out what changes are working and what changes aren't working. So then he goes into talking about the heroes. Now, this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. Super interesting for Sombra, because he says she is a great hero and they're going to be really slow changing her. Now, he said this before with like minor changes, trying to give her a little bit more powerful. But the thing is, they believe she is crazy powerful anyway, and that people don't understand how to use her. But then he also says in the very next sentence, I think she needs a minor buff. So I think what they're trying to do is push her in a direction to kind of make players realize how she should be played. And this completely seals the deal, because he says Sombra, in their eyes, will never be this vicious assassin who goes in and kills people, who has more damage. In fact, they see her more as a support than anything. She's this backline disruptor. She goes in and she disrupts the backline of the enemy. She's not a frontline flanker, or she's not an assassin. They don't want her to kill people faster. They want her to be disruptive. Now, this makes sense, right? Because there's a lot of heroes in the game that kill people, like Genji, Tracer, McCree, Soldier, whatever. They can all get in there and just kill people, right? Obviously, Genji and Tracer would be seen as flankers. Soldier is a flanker to some degree. Pharah, you can say she's a flanker. High damage heroes that kill people. Sombra was never that. You could tell it straight away from even when I played with BlizzCon, she does no damage with a weapon, basically. But she's got hack. And if you look at all the changes they've been doing with Sombra, it's to make her hack more viable. It's to make her hack stronger. So they obviously want you going in and hacking people. And it also plays into the whole fantasy of Sombra. She's a hacker. Sombra is here to hack the planet, right? So they don't want you killing people with an SMG. That's not very hacker-like. They want you going all stealthy and hacking things and all of that stuff. So that's what they want Sombra to be. So they obviously have a way that Sombra should be played. And I'm starting to wonder why we have not worked this out yet. Maybe we have, and maybe we just decide to play other heroes in Sombra's place. Because the big thing in my head is, why would you take Sombra when you could take a Tracer or take any other DPS? I don't think you would take Sombra instead of a support, because Sombra is not necessarily a support. She kind of is in a way, like I'm talking healing support, because she can hack the health packs. The health packs regenerate faster. She can earn her EMP ultimate off that, which is a very powerful ultimate, sure. The problem with Sombra is, all you really do is build your ultimate, use it. If your team win that fight, great. If they don't, then you build your ultimate, use it. You're not really doing anything else, so it's very difficult to see like what they see in Sombra. It's going to be interesting following Sombra and see how she gets developed, because she is a very fun hero to play. I'm still a bit worried about her impact on games, though. I'm not too sure that it's there right yet. So whatever they're seeing, I don't know. I don't think I'm on the same wavelength. Roadhog. Now, his hook is being changed. We know this. And I actually... I predicted this in a previous video. I talked about Hook 2.0, where I was like, Blizzard make changes to the game because they want it to be a fun game for everybody to play. They're not just going to change it because it feels, you're angry that you've been hooked by Roadhog's hook. So yes, that's not great, but it might feel good for Roadhog. What they want to do is make the game so it feels great for both parties, right? It must feel good for Roadhog, and it must feel good for you. And what they've got on the PTR right now is a fantastic hook, because what it does, it punishes you for being in a bad position. When you get hooked, Roadhog can kill you, and that's fine. You can't jump around a wall and break the hook. Roadhog can't throw his hook around the wall, so you feel cheated. So it's great. And I absolutely knew for a fact that's how Blizzard designed their games. They want it to be a fun experience, an engaging experience for both sides of the coin. They don't just want Roadhog to feel great to play, but really bad to play against, because that's how he feels on live right now. Because you get bullshit hooked around the corner, you're like, oh my god, it's the worst thing ever. So yeah, it was odds on that's what they were doing with Hog, and I think these changes are great. And actually, he makes a funny comment where he says, players didn't like the fact that they get hooked on Dorado and end up on point 2 of Ilios. I don't know what he's trying to say about point 2 on Ilios, because it's basically the worst point in the whole game. It ruins, nobody likes it. Who the hell likes that? Oh my god. So yeah. D.Va, this is another big one. So he says she does too much. Now we know this. D.Va does way too much. But they like D.Va's mobility. They like the fact that she's a disruptive tank. So there's a lot of talk about disruption that's been going on in this dev update. They see D.Va as very unique because she doesn't need to reload. And what they want her to do is move in, fire at you, and then use her shift, so her boost ability, to readjust herself to get back within range or to get out of the combat. That's what they want D.Va doing. But they realise that she doesn't really have a strong counter right now on live, because she's got a lot of armour, she's very survivable, she's highly manoeuvrable, she does a lot of damage, and she's got defense matrix. All of that together means that she doesn't really have a counter. Like, the only counter to D.Va is for the entire team to attack D.Va. That's not great. So they want more counters being viable towards D.Va, and the D.Va on PTR is very much like that. Soldier 76 is very good against taking out D.Va. Reaper's good. Roadhog is exceptional at taking her out now. So she's not just this... she wasn't really this ultra-powerful hero, but she's not this hero that doesn't really have a strong counter. Now she does, and you can easily say, let's get a Roadhog to kill the D.Va, and Roadhog will shut down D.Va. That will just happen now. So I think they're okay with that. But big things they've said is they'll never really change her movement, because they like that, and they also like the way her damage is being dealt as well right now. So they like a lot of aspects about D.Va. They just think she's a bit too strong overall, and she needs more counters. That's why she's being changed on PTR. So again, that makes sense. Anna, they absolutely love Anna. They say Anna's got the best kit, basically, and they really love Anna's design, which is awesome, because Anna is a fantastic hero. All of her abilities work so well together, it's awesome. But they said the biggest issue with her is her ability to heal clusters of players with her grenade. That's why they've looked at reducing the heal on the grenade, which is fine. I think that she needs some other minor nerfs, especially in the ability to anti-heal the enemy team completely. Now, they have reduced the timer on that by a second, so it's a second less time that you can't be healed, and a second less time that you receive plus heals on your team when the grenade hits you. But I think maybe reducing it to like a 50% heal only or something like that on enemy players when they get hit by the grenade might be a good thing. But we'll see where they go with that. But again, they'll probably start changing her in minor ways. But Anna is still a supremely good hero, and they love Anna, and it's rightfully so. When Anna came out, the first new hero on Overwatch, she raised the bar so high. What an absolutely awesome hero. And Sombra, arguably, is of the same caliber. It's just difficult to see how she can fit into the game right now. And it was that way with Anna until players started to work out how to use her. One thing they say as well is they really look at the data they collect. Now, in the past, they have been... there's been comments aimed towards Blizzard for relying too much on statistics and data and not on actually what is happening in the game, not on feedback from players and stuff like that. The thing is, like Jeff points out in the video, normally players who give feedback, the vocal players, often referred to as the vocal minority, will only really go to the forums and leave a comment if it is something that is affecting them. Like, they don't agree with something, they feel like the change is bad, so they basically go and tell them, right, I don't like this change to D.Va, it's the worst thing ever, you broke the game, I hate you, Blizzard, that kind of stuff. That's not good feedback, because that's pointless. That's like emotional feedback. So you can understand why they depend on statistics a bit more, to see how long is D.Va actually surviving per life now, how fast does she die. You know, they must be able to track this kind of stuff. So that's basically what they use as a basis to balance the game and look at if changes are working. They still do look at feedback, and they still want feedback off people on the forums. But it was kind of a weird comment to make, because he's sort of saying, yeah, we want feedback, but also the only people that give us feedback are people that are moaning to us. I don't think he means that, because he's replied to a lot of threads on the forum where people have gave great feedback and said, wow, this is awesome feedback. And they do read the forums, like not just Jeff, the whole team read the forums. So they are looking for that feedback. So I just thought it was a bit of a weird thing to say, but they do depend on a lot of the data as well. Alright guys, I'm going to end this video at that. It's been a very detailed video, but this completely explains what is going on the PTR, how they are changing the heroes on the PTR and what the sort of philosophy of the PTR is. So I want you guys to comment below with anything you agree or disagree with in this video, because all of these have been points taken straight from Jeff, like from the update video he's put out. I just thought it would be an awesome idea to discuss this in a lot of detail, because we are like the Overwatch community. We see these things and, you know, we need to react to them. We need to give feedback. So go crazy in the comments below, guys. Let me know what you think. And remember, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll catch you next time. Toodaloo.